For part 2 of this month's Health Check, we're continuing our conversation with Dr. Christina Brooks from WVU Medicine Camden Clark about Heart Health Awareness Month. Christina, thank you so much for joining me again in studio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. So during the first part of our health check this month, you talked about stress being involved towards the end of our conversation to your heart health. Can you just talk about the importance of managing your stress and your heart health at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. So if you have chronic stress, and a lot of us do in our lives, I have to deal with stress too.
We all do. We all do.
So, it's very important to manage that, find a way to manage it. Because if you're living with chronic stress, it actually can cause elevated blood pressure,
right.
Which can lead to heart attack or stroke. So another thing with, living with stress is it actually increases plaque, and that can lead to blockages in your arteries and lead to a heart attack, again, or a stroke. So it's very important that we find ways to manage our stress. And interestingly, studies have shown that women are a little bit more susceptible to the effects of stress on their heart. So, women and men sometimes deal with stress reduction a little bit differently. Women like to do social events and, hang out with their girlfriends,
right.
or, even do things like crafts or sedentary type activities where you're relaxing.
Things to pass the time,
Absolutely.
Take your mind
Hobbies,
off the stress. Right.
Reading, watching TV, even like doing a binge watch on Netflix might be a good idea. Everybody loves Bridgerton, right? So, doing activities like that can be a real stress reliever. Also physical activities, obviously, whether or not that's hitting the gym or you're going to do a sporting activity, participate in that, even if it's a daily walk.
Right.
Those kind of activities can be very helpful. And a big part of stress management is just the actual realization of the stress in your life.
Right.
And, figuring out how am I going to manage that, right? And that can also include things like meditation or, intentful breathing exercises.
Yoga as well,
yes.
I know is some things for some people, Zumba
Absolutely.
as well.
Yes, all those are great things to do. Sleep is a key thing in your health overall, as well as stress, is making sure you're getting your Z's in every night. That's really important. Getting some downtime off your screens. Maybe not making that the last thing you do before you hit the pillow.
Right. I know. I've heard that can keep you kind of awake up
yes.
later at night.
Yes.
The screen being on in your eyes, and you don't get into that good sleep cycle.
Exactly. It's a disruptor. So those are all things that are good methods of kind of managing that stress.
Okay, great. And so I want to follow up with that too. Can you just share any other prevention steps for men and women who may fear that they are dealing with an issue to their heart?
Yeah. So like we talked about last time, it's really important to recognize and control your modifiable risk factors, which include things like your weight, your diet, not eating a lot of high processed foods. We live in a fast food society, trying to minimize that, eating more whole foods, less saturated fats, getting active, again, even if it's just a walk every day, making sure that you're controlling diabetes if you're a diabetic. Those kind of things are key and essential to maintaining your heart health over time.
Absolutely. And so if you think people are having those heart issues, what's maybe the best steps to take? We talked about, that emergency situation earlier. Are there any kind of considered non-emergent situations where people might be having heart issues?
Yeah, if you just notice overall over time, hey, you know what, my energy level is really drained, or I'm noticing that I'm a little short of breath going up the stairs. Those are things that are appropriate to reach out to your primary care physician and have those conversations. And they'll probably bring you in the office and do some blood tests, and maybe an EKG, send you for a stress test. There's different modalities that we can use. We have a really great thing now available called coronary artery calcium screening. That's done in the CT scan, and a higher number on that, an elevated number, can be indicative of plaque formation and possible blockages. So we'd bring you in for further testing in that case. So all of those things are good to kind of check out, do that testing, that screening, to make sure everything's okay.
And Dr. Brooks, before I let you go, once again, I do want to ask, is there anything else you'd like to add about heart health? Whether it's maybe something in the diet for people every day, more preventative tips, or maybe something else about managing stress?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of things that go into your health. And we don't often think of our bodies like we should. It's just this vessel that carries us around, you know. And we do a good job of taking care of our house, and we do a good job of maintenance of our car. And we have to also have that same respect for our bodies. And so prevention is key. You know, we're here at Camden Clark to take care of you if you have an emergency or you've got a crisis. We love if more people can do prevention on the front end. So I think that that's really important, is just taking care of the vessel we have.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Brooks, thank you so much for sitting down with us twice this month to share all of this knowledge. I think you gave a lot of great tips here for the people in the Mid-Ohio Valley and keeping all of us healthy here. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head. We got to respect our bodies like we respect our home, like we respect our cars, like we respect other people. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. When we return, Mid-Ohio Valley, we'll have one last look at your forecast. Stay with us.